Good morning. We're just waiting for everybody to get in. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started with this week's Grow. So welcome, where we gather to recharge, organize, and work here as members of MWEG. I'm Rachel Albertson. I'm the Director of Events. And today we are going to be speaking about our new fall program called Hope Votes. I'm going to turn the time over to Jennifer Walker-Thomas, our Co-Executive Director, to give us a little introduction to that. And then we have some leadership members that are going to explain the different facets of the program. So Jen, why don't you go ahead and explain?
Great. Thanks, Rachel. So we're really excited to be here today and to share with you the unique way that MWEG is choosing to approach this election. Election seasons can be pretty tricky and they're fraught, and they're particularly hard sometimes when you don't have a very strong party identification and you just really see yourself as a person who wants to vote on principle and the issues. And MWEG is here to make that easier for you. This summer, we ran an amazing program called the Hope Experiment, where we encouraged all of you to participate in your community and in your relationships and doing the work of building hope in our society. And there was a real reason for that. Hope is absolutely essential to democracies because democracies require each of us to go to the ballot box or to participate in civic engagement, knowing that we are just a drop in a big wave. And that requires hope. It requires a belief that those drops coming together can make a difference. Once we lose hope, we lose the desire to act. And so we really wanted to remind you that hope is possible. It's just not necessary, but it's actually really possible. There are lots of good reasons that we as citizens should hope for the future and believe. So we wanted to extend that theme as we launch into this election season. We want you to take the hope you've gathered over the summer, and we want you to use it now to act. Before that was sort of a building proposition, and now this is an acting proposition. We want you to move forward with confidence, energy, hope and engagement into the next few months. It's a little bit of a marathon, but we can do it. We just have to participate until the end of November, and then we can, or the beginning of November, and then we can kind of let up a little bit. So we hope you'll all join us in that. Today, we are going to have some of our remarkable MWEG leaders share components of this campaign and share with you the reasons that we truly and sincerely believe that you have cause to hope and how you can prepare to maintain that hope in your civic engagement. And I think we're going to start with Liz Vanderwerken, who is our proactive route.
Yeah, so as Jen mentioned, I'm Liz Vanderwerken, the proactive route director at MWEG. And so I think a theme that's kind of been really evident to me this year, was kind of as I've been participating like as a leader at MWEG and just in political conversations, is how hope really is like an feeling that promotes action, and it's a very like active way of engaging rather than kind of like checking out from the political process. And so as the proactive route director, I have been involved with a project that Jen is not a fan of the name, but we've been calling it Team Prepare for lack of a better way of like categorizing that. And what we've been doing with that is just thinking about this election year and a lot of the challenges that we could anticipate with that based on past election cycles, as well as maybe like the new things that are occurring in this election cycle that we haven't dealt with before. And so with that project and team, we're doing some kind of strategic planning about how MWEG is engaging with those challenges and different, I guess, opportunities of engaging our members in hopeful and productive ways. And so a lot of that work is focused on just things that we either want to like affirm about the election process, like there are things in place for addressing allegations of like fraud or other things. And so if those things happen, we can point people to the resources and processes that are already in place. Or as things occur in the news and misinformation becomes rampant, we're trying to kind of proactively address some of those like themes and issues, like the use of AI in elections, the increase of like voter roll purges and other things by encouraging members to check their voter registration. And so you may notice on some of the social media content and then some of the member discussions in Central, some of those themes kind of coming up of like ways to be proactive about this election cycle. So we did our series on Project 2025, and we're going to be doing some other things with that. So if there are any, I guess, topics or questions that you have, we would love to hear from you about things that you're worried about or thinking about. So feel free to share those in the chat, and we'll make sure we get that passed along to us so we can take a look into those.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. I'm part of Team Prepare as well. I'm Meredith Gardner, the Director of Media Literacy, and I love the work that we're doing with Team Prepare. And a lot of the work we do with media literacy kind of coincides with Team Prepare. Like Liz mentioned, we don't want people to feel overwhelmed with this election. And so we've been working really hard on preparing materials that will help people, especially those of you, which is probably pretty much everyone, we're feeling really busy. We want you to be able to maximize your time and your capacity during the stressful election season. And so we really hope that the tools that we produce in media literacy and for, from Team Prepare to make sure you're ready for different scenarios this election, we want you to feel free to share those with your friends and your relatives who might be feeling similarly. So specifically about media literacy is so important to MWEG because it's a vital part of democracy. Having a shared foundation of truth is so important, and we can't make good policy decisions or informed voting decisions if we don't have good information. So our job is to help you figure out what is good information. We don't want to tell you how to vote or who to vote for. We want you to feel confident that you have the tools to make those decisions on your own. So some of the things that we're working on this election season that you'll be seeing or you already have seen is we just started a new series called SIFT in Seconds. So SIFT is a media literacy methodology that teaches how to handle, how to verify news stories. And that's an Instagram Reel series that's going to be running every Friday. And it just takes current events and shows you how you can very quickly verify information you see in news stories. We also have some reels and memes coming out about campaign ads and how to parse those out and look for false information in those. Liz mentioned AI. We're going to do some things about how campaigns might be using AI. And then also how to find reliable information on where to vote, who to vote for, and then how election results are reported. And then, of course, after the election, we'll be watching as events unfold to help make sure you feel confident that you can be correctly informed. So those are just some tools that are just one way we're trying to help people feel less overwhelmed. And I know Lisa is ready to talk about some other ways we want to help with that as well.
Hi. So like Meredith said, we have everyone is, a lot of us are feeling very overwhelmed about the election, about who we're going to vote for. There's just so much information coming from so many different sides. So Meredith's part is so key in helping to break it down into, these little tidbits that are digestible, easy to share, and easy to understand without taking up so much of that mental space that is already so full with everything that's going on in your life. And really, that's the main reason why so many people vote straight ticket, right? They think, look, I align with some of these things with this party, so I'm just going to vote for everyone from that party. And it just makes it so easy. They're just kind of phoning it home, makes it easy. They they fulfill their duty, mark the, check off the list that they voted. But last year, the church came out with a statement that says, and this is a really strong statement, so I want you to listen in case you had forgotten. It says, merely voting a straight ticket or voting based on tradition without careful study of candidates and their positions on important issues is a threat to democracy. I mean, that's so strongly worded. It's a threat to democracy to do that. Now, there's no shade for anyone who's done that in the past. I know I have been there too. But we also know that taking that leap from being a straight ticket voter to being someone who does research, study the candidates and study the positions can feel very daunting. And so that's part of this program, is to help people, one, realize why they don't want to outsource their vote to political parties or to friends or to, have someone else just tell them how to vote. But also all the different little steps that help them to make that leap to voting in a way that truly reflects who you are and is more personalized to what you hope for our country. So we're going to give you that framework to take ownership of your vote. And we're going to show you how to really reflect who you are, because we always hear your vote is your voice. That's how you communicate what you want, how to, it's our conduit to our elected officials. We're going to show you how to reflect who you really are in that vote. So another quote from that statement from the church says, members should also study candidates carefully and vote for those who have demonstrated integrity, compassion, and service to others, regardless of party affiliation. So we're going to be digging into that as well, helping especially those people who feel really unrepresented by the two major parties, whether that's on a national level or at a local level. So we're going to help people figure out how to study out these candidates in a way that is much more relatable to maybe what you're used to. Each of us is already making really complex, nuanced decisions in our lives every day. And so we want to show you how to take those skills and immediately direct it to your ballot. And then we also are hearing from people that they're already tired of the election season. Our elections really drag out here in the United States. And so another key part of this is if you are one of those who are feeling tired, maybe you already know how you want to vote and you're just tired and you want it to be done. We know that there's nothing more energizing than hope. And so we want to show you how to make your vote count more than it has ever counted before, how to expand the reach of your vote, and help you to see that you really truly can make a difference. And the way that you spend even just a few minutes a day for the next 55 days, what a exponentially big difference that can make. So I know that having conversations with people about how you're going to vote and talking politics to people in our actual life, not online, can be really scary. And so we have lots of resources to help with that too. And Catherine is going to share a couple really good opportunities that we have to get practice with using your voice in that way as well.
Thank you, Lisa. Yes. So we have these great tools here at MWEG that will help you to prepare to vote and also to help others prepare to vote. One of those great tools is our voter preparation parties. We've been doing these for several years now, and we want more and more women in in MWEG to be holding voter preparation parties. So what we do is we provide you with a framework that you can use to walk through with your friends and your neighbors and your family members to collaboratively and peacefully work through what's on the ballot and help one another learn about issues and candidates. So there's no more getting to your polling place and feeling unprepared when you see, oh no, there's a constitutional amendment that I'm not prepared for, or those down ballot races that you didn't even realize were going to happen. This is a way of preparing and helping your neighbors and friends and family members get prepared too. It's also a great way for you to build community and to practice having those complex conversations. It's a wonderful tool, and it seems kind of scary at first, but most people who have had the experience of holding one or attending one have had really positive experiences with it. I invite a lot of my neighbors to one at my house. And actually, I have people now who say, are we going to have one of those again this year, Catherine? Because it's always really good to be able to have that kind of unusual in our political climate, collaborative, peacemaking conversation about what is happening on our ballots. We also want to be able to support and make it possible for other people to vote too, not just ourselves, but all of those people around us, and especially people who may have a more challenging time voting. There are many places around the country where it's not so easy to vote, and maybe there are special challenges like for people with disabilities, people who are elderly, or people who have language translation needs. We have partnered with a lot of organizations that help provide these opportunities for MWEG members to take some action, to feel really good about how they're participating in this election. One of the great things that we have going on this year is that we're trying to find and train at least 10 volunteer poll chaplains this cycle. So these are people who will work in pairs to provide a positive moral presence at a polling location for a few hours on election day or during an early voting day. We're prioritizing counties with a higher distressed community score. And so that's areas where there's a lower rate of high school diploma among adults, or working age adults are changing jobs more frequently. The poverty rate is higher, measures like that. Our poll chaplains are going to bring positivity with snacks and water for the hardworking poll workers and for those voters who are waiting. And they're going to help people find a wheelchair ramp, or help people find a wheelchair if they need one, if they have to stand in a line for a while. So we're really excited about having an action that our members can take. Another great action that our members can take is participating in or holding their own living room conversation, whether that's virtual or in person. And these are opportunities for you multiple times a month through MWEG Central, or where we hold ours virtually, so that you can keep practicing your curiosity and your peacemaking. So we're really excited to have more of those. And finally, we'll have a lot of information, like Meredith shared. We have a lot of information about election processes that we'll continue to share. So when you have questions about things like recounts, or voter ID, or curing your ballot signature, if you have, if you or someone you know has an issue with their mail-in or absentee ballot having a signature concern. So we have lots of information about that, so that you can really go into this being informed and knowing what you can do and how you can participate. And I think Jen has more discussion about peacemaking, which is such a critical element of our work.
Yeah, so we want to close out with peacemaking. These wonderful women have explained to you how we do things. We try to get engaged. We try to think independently as voters. We try to make sure that we're informed by truth. These are all things that we do, but at the very core of this is the work of peacemaking. There is an antidote to the way we are doing politics. The way we're doing politics in our nation right now is not, we sort of think that it is inevitable that it happens this way. It is not. It does not have to be. It's definitely, politics is going to involve conflict. It does not require, it is not necessary that it also involve contention. And peacemakers are able to meet conflict, situations of conflict, to diffuse them and to come to resolutions that are that work often for both parties. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do as peacemakers. We have a lot of peacemaking resources that will help you on your journey to become a peacemaker in the political sphere. We just want to remind you that you can find those resources on our website. We just launched a new one this last week that was called Peacemaking for Littles, that will help you talk to your children about what it means to be a peacemaker from a very young age. We have, if you go to our website where we've got our peacemaking landing page, you can find resources like how to approach media literacy through peacemaking, how to think about conflict resolution. There's just a huge range of resources. And for those of you who are MWEG members, we have some fantastic presentations that are behind our website from Jennifer Finlayson Fife, and website or presentations from our conference that can help you learn some of the skills to become a peacemaker in your relationships and in your families, your homes, and your communities. Finally, we just want to remind you of the Proclaim Peace podcast. Fortuitously, the Book of Mormon has arrived at a moment of pretty significant political conflict just as we are approaching our election. And so this is giving us the opportunity to do some really committed conversations about what peacemaking can look like in government and politics and in the civic sphere. And we're really excited for some of those upcoming conversations with some remarkable women and men. So we hope that you will join us not only in our whole campaign to help you be a better voter, a more informed citizen, and a really rich contributor to your community. But above all else, we hope that you will make a commitment to do this the MWEG way, which is through a pattern of peacemaking, because this is how we are going to make a difference, not just in what we do, but how we choose to do it. So please follow along. Please share this fall campaign with your friends and your neighbors. I think they're going to find that it is a rich, rewarding, and really informative way to do politics. We're doing something unique here at MWEG, and we think it's worth sharing. So we are excited to have you, and come along.
Thank you for all of you who participated and shared this information. As you can tell, we're really excited here at MWEG about what we have coming for the next couple months before the election. We hope, as Jen said, that you will join us. There will be a lot of things, and I would encourage all of you that the way that MWEG was started, to just invite one person in and ask them to join MWEG with you, to join MWEG Central, so that they have access to all of these resources that we are discussing here, so that you can share them and invite those friends that you think may be interested to be part of that discussion and have access to these resources. You will be able to find on Central, and we'll link it at some point. I couldn't find the link to it, but for the voter prep parties, it has suggestions and a little invitation and some printables that you can use for doing that. Next week, we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about poll chaplains. And so if that's something that interests you, keep an eye out for the link to that Grow, as we will discuss that more in depth. And then we'll have some links for anybody that is interested to sign up to be a poll chaplain. Find a friend, a companion maybe, and be a poll chaplain. It may not be a need that's in your exact area. You probably won't be at your polling location. There's a chance here, but there are areas on the fringes that need some help. And so if that's something that you're interested in, keep an eye out for that. And like I said, next week we'll go into a little more depth about that. So if you're curious, stay tuned. Until then, we'll say see you later. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for joining us.